Oh, today I think we nailed it. We left the house at 9:10 for a lacrosse game, and we got into one of the bars right next to the stadium. We didn't even use the locker crossing.
Oh.
So then you can get out. So it's just like,
You just got to go early. Okay. So on Thursday we were going down. We left at 12:30. I was picking up at school, and there were 4 other parents there too. And the person at the front desk was like, I was the first one there. So what are you here to pick them up for? I was already out of the other guys. And I was like, I'm taking them to international cultural. And she was like, you're going to Gillette? I was like, yeah. But we left at 12:30, and we ended up going sort of almost all the way to the city, and turning around and wanting to move back out a little bit and parking. So that way on the way out we could, it was a 25-minute walk, but because for the World Cup games they've taken out like 10,000 cars.
so they want to push people on the train?
They're making, no, they're like making it go to screw. So they're saying like you can't ever leave the car. Also, I was disappointed to learn after like about the money.
Hello everyone.
Once they got the money.
We are going to get started in a few minutes, so now is a great time to find your tables.
I kind of like
get settled.
There's like buying milk.
Tuck in for the big Seder. Make sure you have water and a bottle of wine on your table.
Okay.
We'll start in just a few minutes.
So here.
Started, everyone. It's happening. It's really happening. Hi, my name is Shana Gozansky. I will be your MC for the evening. It is an honor and a privilege to be back for round 2. This is my second year. Big deal. Thank you. to a Hay student at Shula, so I'm deeply entrenched in the magic of this place. Hello to everyone online. You are very much here and a necessary part of our community. I'm looking directly at the camera. Please, online attendees, if you have any issues at all, use the chat function on in your window, and it will get attended to that way. And if you are a reader, first of all, thank you, so that I don't have to do all of it. That's very nice. And you will come up to this side, which is where the steps are. I would discourage you from coming to this side because there are no steps. And please come up about 2 readings before, just so that we can keep things moving along and get to the... I'll come over and answer your question in a sec, I promise. Great. Please silence all your devices as well. And I'm going to do let's do a little show of hands. Who is a current Shula student? Raise your hands. Okay, I see y'all. Yeah. Who is a former Shula student? That might be my favorite one. I'm not going to lie. Who are current and former Shula parents? Yeah. Who's involved in a social justice committee here? Yes. Whoo, thank you. Who is in, Polly, I hope I say it right, a Bessera Welt? I did it? Amazing. Raise your hands. Who's involved in Yiddish programming? Yes. And who are proud members of the Boston Workers Circle? And then lastly, who's here for the first time? My parents. Oh, it's your second? I just got corrected. It's their second. I don't remember the first one. All right, so we're going to get started. One thing I want to say before we really kick off, so we're doing a couple things a little differently this year. The first one is the wine. Each table has 1 bottle of wine. It is either red or white. If you prefer a different color wine, a different grape varietal, please make friends with people at other tables. If you run out of wine, there is a lovely bar in the lobby, and you can just go up and say, hey, we need another bottle of wine, and they're going to say, here you go, and we're going to keep on trucking. Great. Okay. Take a moment, look around at this community that always uplifts when we're together. Wave to people around the room, especially people you don't know. Welcome. I'm coming over to you for your question in a second. And we're going to kick things off, and let's get started. Thank you, everyone.
So the first song, we've done it often enough now that you should maybe know it a little bit, but please sing along if you think you do. Purim, Purim, Purim lano, Pesach, Pesach alamano, las masas están faziendo, los yapraquis están cociendo. Aman, 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 el Dios bendicho musamazal. Aman, 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 el Dios bendicho musamazal. Purim, Purim, Purim lano, Pesach, Pesach alamano, la nona está diciendo a las nietos, limpia el pueblo, cantones y los tecos. Aman, 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 el Dios bendicho musamazal. Aman, 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 el Dios bendicho musamazal. Purim, Purim, Purim lano, Pesach, Pesach alamano, il Signor ubi diso alas diat, no cumer il pan ocho diat. Aman, 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 el Dio bendicho muza mazal. Aman, 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 el Dio bendicho muza mazal. No, use that one.
Welcome to our Passover Seder. We are living in extraordinary times. Modern-day pharaohs are threatening our Constitution and our democracy. We are witnessing a revival of fascism. For those of us with relative privilege, the current moment has shown us how fragile our collective progress towards social justice has been. For those of us who are less privileged, the expansion of insecurity and inequality highlights the lack of legal protections and recognition we have lived with for generations. In these difficult times, we gather together to celebrate Passover, the liberation of the Jewish people. We remember that we are linked by our history to all peoples in the fight for justice and freedom. This year, as we retell our ancient story, we are keenly aware that we must resist the actions of today's pharaohs by creating and sustaining liberation movements at home and all over the world. For it is said, every person and every generation must regard themselves as having been personally freed from bondage in Mitzrayim, the Hebrew name of ancient Egypt and a metaphor for a time of enslavement. Let us celebrate our freedom from enslavement in Mitzrayim and strengthen ourselves to fight against current injustices. For as long as one person is oppressed, none of us are free. Today we say, no kings, no pharaohs.
This one? Okay. In Hebrew, Mitzrayim means the narrow place, first a refuge, then a place of enslavement, and finally the birth canal of the people. Today, those with privilege have joined those confined to the very narrow, stifling place created by the current social and political realities of our country. The word Seder means order, and Haggadah means the telling. Ever since Rabbi Akiva used the Passover Seder to plan a revolutionary struggle against the Romans, Jews have used the Seder to begin work on tikkun, healing and transformation. Today, we use the traditional order to tell a story about the need to come together against an openly bigoted government that runs roughshod over its people and the world. As it is said, whoever enlarges upon the telling of the Exodus from Mitzrayim, those persons are crazy. Passover candles. This is better. This is good. Okay. Everybody should have some matches on their table and also some candles. So I'm going to give you guys a moment to assign a lighter, a bringer of light to your table. Also a long history of struggle against oppression. We must join with all oppressed peoples, honoring both our differences and our need to work together for our future and the future of our children. So we'll say the blessing in Hebrew together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher ishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chad shel yom tov. Say in Ladino, Briante es la luz de esa, Briante es la luz
we say in Yiddish, Lichtig is the shine von Pesach. Lichtig is the shine von Shalom. Lichtig is the shine von Menschlichkeit. Lichtig is the shine von der Welt. Which means in English, radiant is the light of Pesach, radiant is the light of peace, radiant is the light of humanity, radiant is the light in the world.
Today we retell the ancient story, the story of the Exodus from Israel and our liberation from enslavement. Each year we remember not just the story of our own oppression and deliverance in ancient times, but also our current struggles for social justice. We recognize our own history and the current conditions faced by refugees and immigrants, especially those denied refuge or deported due to color, creed, or accent. We welcome those who have been traumatized by the savagery of current wars, terrorism, imperialism, colonialism, and climate change. As written in the Torah, do not oppress or mistreat the foreigner, for once you were strangers in the land of Mitzrayim.
Our hearts go out to all the people in Palestine, to Gaza and the West Bank, and to the Palestinian communities everywhere who are struggling under the weight of this endless siege, the occupation, the genocide, and the loss of tens of thousands of lives, the devastation of communities, cultural institutions, land, and so much more. Since the horrific Hamas attack on Israel on October 7, 2023, the destruction in Gaza, the humanitarian crisis, and the loss of life, especially of children, are almost unfathomable. In the occupied West Bank, Israeli settlers are rampaging through and destroying centuries-old Palestinian villages. We must resist and speak out against fear and hate, whether born of ignorance or trauma. As Jews, we are heartbroken and outraged by the violence being committed in our name. We stand with all the people for a free Palestine with justice and equity for all. We commit ourselves to work towards the collective liberation of all people. Never again means never again for anyone.
Let us recognize that we are meeting on the ancient homeland and traditional territory of the Massachusetts people. The Boston Workers' Circle pays a voluntary land tax to the Massachusetts tribe at Ponkapog as a symbolic gesture acknowledging the historical dispossession of indigenous lands and a way to support tribal sovereignty and economic development. We pay respect to the Massachusetts people's past, present, and future, and their continuing presence in their homeland and throughout the Massachusetts diaspora.
We invite you to pour the first cup of wine. All right, now that we've given you a minute to start pouring the first glass, as we say in Hebrew, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafe.
As we say in Ladino, dediquemos el primer vaso de vino al coraje, a la creatividad y a la vitalidad para levantarnos, para nosotros mismos y también para los que sufren por modo de los paros de nuestros días.
As we say in Yiddish, mit dem ersten Gläsel Wein trinken wir the Covid, the Mutterkeit, Schöpferischkeit und Lebendigkeit, sich anzunehmen, für sich allein
und verdient was beiden unterheitige Paares. Which means in English. I also speak that language. Let us dedicate the first cup of wine to finding the courage, creativity, and vitality to stand up for ourselves and all those who are suffering under modern-day pharaohs.
So the melody will be familiar, the words may be a little different, so follow along.
When Pharaoh was in DC land, let our people stay. His evil ways we could not stand, let our people stay. Go down, comrades, way down in DC land, tell Pharaoh, let our people stay. From San Diego up to Maine, let our people stay. The cruelty is quite insane, let our people stay. Go down, comrades, way down in DC land, tell Pharaoh, let our people stay. Let's melt the ice, tell people stay. Let our people stay. Let's end the horror, pain, and dread. Let our people stay. Go down, comrades, way down in DC land. Tell Pharaoh, let our people stay.
Karpas. Pesach is a springtime holiday. The karpas, or parsley, reminds us of springtime and hope. We dip the karpas in salt water because tears taste salty. We remember the tears of our people who cried in Mitzrayim when we were enslaved. We are mindful of the tears of peoples who are not free. And may we never be so comfortable that we become complacent and forget that pain. May we always be able to feel the connection between our own struggles for freedom and today's struggles against oppression, wherever they occur.
Matzah is known as the bread of affliction. One reason we break the middle matzah is to remind ourselves that the key to freedom is to plan for the future. Some are free now, but we must continue to plan for the long term to ensure all will be free. Dividing the matzah also reminds us that our nation is divided by fear and ignorance, racism and economic inequality, Islamophobia and xenophobia. Until these divided parts are made whole, our Seder cannot truly be ended, and our nation cannot be whole. Today we have already broken the matzah and hidden the afikomen, the matzah that the children search for at the end of our Seder. The Seder cannot end until the afikomen is found, which reminds us that we children have a right to be heard.
As we say in Ladino, esto es el pan de la aflicción que comieron los padres en tierra de Egipto. Todo el que tiene hambre, venga y coma. Todo el que tiene de menester, venga y pasuque. Which means in English, this is the bread representing our affliction that our people ate in the land of Egipto, Mitzrayim. May whoever is hungry come and eat. May anyone who is in distress come and celebrate with us.
As a Yiddish writer, Yud Lamed Peretz, said, als wird Tage sagen, soll jeder, was ist hungrig, reinkommen und essen. Soll keiner nicht davon reinkommen. Which means, if you really say, really call out, let all who are hungry come and eat, may there be no one in the world who needs to come in.
The four questions. Jewish cultures all over the world have celebrated Pesach and asked the traditional four questions in their own native languages. There are several hundred versions from French to Korean to Judeo-Arabic. In English, why is this night different from all other nights? In Ladino, ¿cuánto fue demorada la noche la esta más que todas las noches? We invite the children to sing the traditional four questions. We ask and then answer these questions together tonight.
Over Halayla Hazeh, in der Dose Pesach Nacht, essen wir nur Matze. Shemechol Halleluis, alle Nacht essen wir Kohlele Grinsen. Over Halayla Hazeh, in der Dose Nacht, Moror. Lois, bitte wegreite. Shemechol Halleluis, alle Nacht zum Gericht. euch nicht. Over Halala Hazeh, in der Dose gibt Nacht. Dunkel mir eins, zweimal. Shevachol Halleluis. Alle Nacht kennen wir es, sei sitzen dich gleich, sei ungelernt. Over Halala Hazeh, in der Dose gibt Pesach Nacht, essen wir alle ungelernt. Man Ishtana Halala Hazeh, Mikol Halleluis. Varvos ist die Dose Nacht von Pesach, anderes von alle Nacht von der ganzen Jahr.
I would like to answer the first traditional question. Why do we eat matzah? When Pharaoh let our ancestors go from Mitzrayim, they were forced to leave quickly. There was no time to let dough rise and bake it into bread for the journey, so they snatched up their dough and fled Pharaoh's army. The hot sun beating down on the dough as they carried it along with them baked it into a flat, unleavened bread, which they called matzah. That is why we eat matzah on Passover. I would like to answer the second question. Why do we eat maror? Our ancestors were enslaved in Mitzrayim and their lives were made bitter. That is why we eat maror, horseradish, or bitter greens on Passover.
I would like to answer the third question. Why do we dip herbs twice? The first time we dip the parsley in salt water because the parsley reminds us of the green that comes to life again in the springtime. And the salt water reminds us of the tears of the Jewish people before they became free. The second time we dip the maror, the bitter herbs, in the sweet cheroses as a sign of hope. Our ancestors were able to live with the bitterness of enslavement because it was sweetened by the hope of freedom. Now I'd like to answer the last question. Why do we recline? In ancient days, the enslaved were forced to eat quickly because their masters did not permit them to waste a single moment when they could be working. And so the enslaved ate either standing up or squatting on the ground. At our Passover Seder, we mark our freedom by eating while sitting or reclining.
Four questions. Are there only 4 questions? There are countless questions. In the spirit of this holiday, we ask some of the other questions that burn in our hearts, written by the Shola Dalet class. Thank you, Lenny. Why do we have more than enough food, but so much of it is not safe or healthy to eat? Why do the wealthy pay less in taxes than the poor? Why did people vote for Trump? Why are the people with the most power not working to make the world more peaceful?
Lower. Okay, great. Okay, the symbols in the story of Passover reflect the struggles against injustice, both old and new. This is the story of Pesach. Let us turn to the ancient tradition. During a famine, Jews came to Mitzrayim. Their children multiplied and prospered. They held important positions and played an important role in the political, cultural, and economic life of the country. The old Pharaoh died, and there arose a new Pharaoh who said, "Look, the Jewish people are too mighty for us." So Pharaoh put the Jews into labor gangs and set taskmasters over them with heavy loads. He enslaved them and treated them harshly. In spite of the many cruel decrees of Pharaoh, the Jewish people continued to live and grow. Pharaoh now hit a new and more terrible plan. He commanded the Jewish midwives to kill every boy born to a Jewish family. They refused to comply. 2 of the heroic, defiant midwives, Shifra and Puah, helped a son to be born into the house of Levi to Yocheved and her husband Amram. Yocheved, frightened by Pharaoh's law, hid her son in a basket and placed it on the river Nile.
Schwimmt das Kästel laufen teils, laufen größen Nil. Schwimmt das Kästel ruhig gleich, schwimmt das Kästel still. Und die Qualjes gehen still, gehen zart und lind, wie sie wollten hinten sich ton schlecht dem Kind. Schwimmt das Kästel laufen Teich, laufen größen Nil. Schwimmt das Kästel ruhig gleich, schwimmt das Kästel still. Und ich will jetzt seinen doch nicht wie Paare schlecht, nicht der trinken werden sie, dem Befreier von die Knecht. Schwimmt das Kästel laufen Teich, laufen größen Nil. Schwimmt das Kästel ruhig gleich, schwimmt das Kästel still, schwimmt das Kästel still.
Okay. Pharaoh's daughter rescued the baby. The baby's sister Miriam, who was hiding in the bulrush plant, offered to find a woman to nurse him. She ran to get Yocheved, the baby's mother. So Moses, Moshe, which means drawn from the water, was raised by his own mother, his sister, and the Pharaoh's daughter. Moses grew up as a prince, yet aware that he was Jewish. One day, he tried to stop a taskmaster from beating an enslaved Jew. Moses hit the taskmaster and accidentally killed him. He was forced to flee from the palace. The story goes that one day he saw a bush that was on fire and yet alive and green. Moses saw this as a sign that he must rescue the Jewish people from enslavement. Perhaps the burning bush was the light of freedom shining in his eyes. Some say that Moses was the first community organizer, helping Jews see their treatment as unjust and leading them in a fight against oppression and an escape to freedom, building a sense of unity and peoplehood.
The story says that 10 plagues ravaged Mitzrayim, and then Pharaoh finally agreed to let the Jews leave. Soon after, however, Pharaoh had a change of heart and mobilized his soldiers to recapture the Jews, who were now on the shores of the Red Sea. The Jews looked back and saw Pharaoh's army approaching. The only way out was to jump into the sea before them. According to the book of Exodus, the sea parted, creating a path. Legend has it that the waters did not divide until one man, Nachshon, walked into the sea. As he walked in, the water rose above his ankles, above his knees, above his waist, above his shoulders, above his mouth and nose, and he kept walking forward. In doing so, he acted as a free person, ready to take the ultimate risk for his freedom. And only then did the waters of the Red Sea part for the Jews to walk through.
An excerpt from The Edge by Aurora Levins Morales. This is the place where the way is blocked, the end of the road, the edge of the land. This tumultuous sea is where we choose to act. Step off the land, right into the tide, sick and tired of being sick and tired, determined now to reach the other side. This is when we threw down our tools and walked off the job, walked out of school, voted to strike, sat down in the road when we spoke the forbidden language at the top of our lungs. This is the moment of enough is enough. When one child too many was gunned down for breathing. When crowds marched to the border demanding return. When the landlord raised the rent again and we wouldn't pay. When the union bosses said, accommodate. But young Clara Lemlich climbed up on a table yelling, strike now, because we will not wait. When we walked to work in Montgomery, when we took our boats to Alcatraz, when we said, not in my name, no more. When we marched against the Vietnam War, when children walked out of classrooms in Soweto, in Managua, last month, in their millions all around the world. When we lost our patience, when our outrage was bigger than our fear, when we said boycott, sanction, divest, when we said si se puede, when we said water is life, we will defend it, when we said black lives matter. As we walk into the water and keep walking deeper and deeper, even though the waves slap at our faces, we'll know this is how it happens. This is how the sea parts. The road opens. This is how things change.
When the Jewish people had crossed the sea, the waters flowed back together, catching the army of Mitzrayim, catching the armies of Mitzrayim and drowning them. The Jews' joy at escaping enslavement was not complete because they saw the suffering of others. A full cup of wine is a symbol of joy, and we acknowledge the suffering of the people of Mitzrayim by dipping a spoon into our cup and removing a drop of wine, one for each of the 10 plagues. We invite you to fill your cups as needed, and we will dip. Thumb, blood. Tzifardea, frogs. Kinim, lice. Arov, beasts. Devek, cattle disease. Shechin, boils. Barad, hail. Arbe, locusts. Hoshek, darkness. And the Makat, Bechorot, plague on the firstborn.
The Shul Vav class would like to see the world free of these 10 plagues.
Abuse of power.
Wars.
Hate, including racism, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia.
Social injustice.
Inequitable access to education.
Injustice toward the LGBTQIA+ community.
Economic insecurity, food insecurity, and housing insecurity.
Structural and emotional violence from immigration policy.
Climate change.
Animal abuse.
As we tell the story of our liberation from slavery in Egypt and attempt to make sense of the overwhelming current historical moment, let us consider what miracles and accomplishments would be sufficient in today's world for us to be truly satisfied, to create a bessere Welt, a better world. At the end of each line, we invite you to say, Dayenu, which means it would have been enough. When the ceasefire in Gaza truly becomes a ceasefire, when the tens of thousands of homes, schools, hospitals, mosques, olive groves, and cemeteries destroyed in Gaza and the West Bank are rebuilt as a place where Palestinians can at last live and thrive in freedom and dignity. When we achieve a just and equitable end of the occupation of Palestinian lands so that Israeli Jews and Palestinians can live together in freedom and in peace. When the millions of political prisoners held without charges in prisons and detainment centers in China, Iran, Israel, the United States, Russia, Sudan, South Sudan, Venezuela, and all around the world are released. When we stand up and stop imperialist wars, assassinations, and takeovers, driven by greed for power, territory, and resources.
When all workers of the world have enough jobs and money, enjoy safe, healthy, and secure working conditions, and can take pride in their work. Dayenu.
When the air, water, fellow creatures, and beautiful earth are protected and given priority over development for the sake of profit. When we open our hearts, no less our homes, to every refugee around the world until there are no more refugees. When we dismantle white supremacy in our institutions, neighborhoods, homes, and hearts. If today each person could say, this year I worked as hard as I could towards collective action in response to collective injustice.
This, of course, is a major sing-along.
Die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, 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 die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu. Ilu natan natan lanu. Nope, I'm on. Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, die. Dayenu, 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 die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu.
Mitzrayim, one more time.
Ilu Hatzianu, mi Mitzrayim, Hatzianu, mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu. Die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, 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 die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, Dayenu. It's Yiddish, I got this. Volk kein Seder nicht gewesen, kein Haggadah nicht gewesen, aber gnädig ja gewesen. Dayenu, Dayenu, die, Dayenu. Die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, 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 die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu.
Hey!
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. What does this mean, it would have been enough?
Surely no one of these things would indeed have been enough for us. Dayenu means to celebrate each step towards freedom as if it were enough, then to start out on the next step. It means that if we reject each step because it is not the whole liberation, we will never be able to achieve the whole liberation. It means to sing each verse as if it were the whole thing, and then sing the next verse. As it is said in Pirkei Avot, it is not our job to complete the task, but never to abandon it.
On each table is a Seder plate that holds a set of symbolic foods. Please hold up the symbol as it is discussed.
This is matzah, the bread of liberation, of rebellion that our foremothers baked and ate in a time when they had to be organizing more and cooking less.
The eggs are a symbol of springtime, fertility, and the giving of life. We are reminded of Pharaoh's threat to kill newborn Jewish babies and of the courageous midwives who refused to carry out his orders. The egg also tells us the longer things are in hot water, the tougher they become. We dip the eggs in salt water to taste the tears that accompany birth and death in times of enslavement and freedom.
Tradition directs us to hold up a roasted lamb bone to recall the Passover story of the doorposts of the Jewish homes in Mitzrayim, marked with the blood of the sacrificed animals, so that the angel of death would pass over and not take the firstborn Jewish children. You can also use a beet to represent the blood and a model or drawing of a lamb bone to represent the lamb, so that no animals are in fact sacrificed for our Seder plates. But the ancient symbol of the first Passover is retained. In this way, we affirm our ancient traditions while acknowledging ethical and ecological concerns about the eating of meat.
Many thanks to the Shula for making clay bones.
Maror. The bitter herbs symbolize the bitterness of enslavement.
Salt water represents the tears of our ancestors in enslavement.
Charoses. Charoses is a sweet mixture of fruit and nuts with variations from around the world, such as apples, nuts, wine, and spices, dates, figs, apricots, and prunes, or oranges, peanuts, and bananas. In all cases, it symbolizes the mortar that our ancestors used to build pyramids. The sweet taste of the roses also reminds us that even in the bitter times of enslavement, our people have always remembered the sweet taste of freedom.
Karpas, the parsley and salt water, remind us that both the tender greens of the earth and the salt water of the sea are joined together to sustain life. One of the gifts of our tradition is that we are able to interpret and expand the customs that have been handed down to us. One modern custom is the addition of an orange on the Seder plate. Scholar Susanna Heschel began putting an orange on her Seder plate to symbolize the inclusion and engagement of LGBTQ people in the Jewish community. And there are those who add, we left Mitzrayim as enslaved and were reborn as a free people. So we bring to the Seder plate a fruit that carries within itself the seeds of its own rebirth. We add the olive to our Seder plate to bring to mind the olive branch, which has long been a symbol of peace, and to remember the olive tree that evokes an ancient past shared by generations tied to the ritual of harvest and to the traditions of preparing and sharing food with family and friends. The olive reminds us of the heartbreak of the war in Gaza, the Israel occupation of Palestinian territories, and the massive uprooting of centuries-old Palestinian olive trees. At the same time, we are reminded of the olive branch as a sign of hope and an enduring future dating back to the time of Noah, the receding floodwaters, and the beginning of a new life.
invite you to pour a second cup of wine. Yeah. As we say in Hebrew,
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
As we say in Ladino, dedicamos el segundo vaso de vino a la paz en juntos con la justicia, que no haya más guerra ni comidas, opresión y ocupación de Israel-Palestina.
Okay, as we say in Yiddish, mit dem zweiten Gläsel Wein trinken wir Lekovet Shalom und Gerechtigkeit und a Sof zu Milchome, Hungertod, Bedrückung und Okkupation in Israel, Palestina. Which means in English, let us dedicate the second cup of wine to peace with justice and an end to war, starvation, oppression, and occupation in Israel, Palestine.
We eat the sweet harosas and bitter maror together to remember the sweetness of freedom and the bitterness of enslavement. As we eat them, we sweeten our awareness that life in the real world is a sandwich of bitter and sweet.
Our hearts go out to all those caught in occupation, oppression, and war. We recall Ukraine's complex Jewish history with pogroms and persecution, Cossacks and Nazi collaborators, as well as fertile soil for Jewish creativity and radical Yiddishkeit. Ukraine is the heart of the Bloodlands, an area which has witnessed 2 world wars, a civil war, a major famine, and the Holocaust by bullets. Once again, Ukraine has been invaded and occupied. At a time when modern-day pharaohs are conspiring against Ukrainian sovereignty, we vow to resist. May there be peace and an end to oppression and occupation in Ukraine, Yemen, Sudan, the Congo, Venezuela, Iran, Israel, and Palestine. I read now a line from a poem by Maya Abu al-Khayyat, translated from Arabic to English by Fadi Judah. Justice is the right of all who live in the wrong places of the world. I will now recite that line in Arabic. Al-adala kol man ya'ish fi al-maka'in al-khatta fi hadha al-alam.
We expect good things from the ABV members in the crowd here.
Join us, please. Chevre zusammen, lass mir sich geben die Hand, lass mir nickel leikeln, zerbrechen die Wand. Hey, hey, da loi Polizei, da loi sam der Jav jetzt,
hey,
vrasse. Hey, hey, da loi Polizei, da loi sam der Jav jetzt, vrasse. Necken hat geführt, a Wegele mit Mist, heint ist geworden a Kapitalist. Hey, hey, da loi Polizei, da loi sam der Jav jetzt,
hey,
vrasse. Hey, hey, da loi Polizei, da loi sam der Jav jetzt, vrasse. Comrades together, all gather round. Together we are strong enough to bring corporate greed down. Hey, hey, Daloi Politse, Daloi Samadержав, jetzt Vrase. Hey, hey, Daloi Politse, Daloi Samadержав, jetzt Vrase. Chevre zusammen, lommen sich geben die Hand, ois totale Tarigkeit und ois mit sehr Event. Hey, hey, Daloi Politse, Daloi Samadержав, jetzt Vrase. Hey, hey, Daloi Politse, Daloi Samadержав, jetzt Vrase.
The first night of Passover, April 19th, 1943, is a historic date in modern Jewish history, the start of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. The Nazis had planned to liquidate the ghetto as a birthday present for Hitler. A Judenrein Warsaw, Warsaw empty of Jews. But the Jews knew of their plans and were prepared. They resisted. They fought back. Unable to take the ghetto by military force, the desperate Germans destroyed it, brick by brick. With the Warsaw Ghetto in flames, the fighters turned to guerrilla activity. They lived in underground bunkers, fought from the sewers, and struggled on amid the charred rubble of the ghetto. On May 16th, the Germans announced that the fighting was over and that the Jewish quarter of Warsaw no longer exists. But there were still hundreds of Jews in the subterranean bunkers of the ghetto, which was now a heap of ruins. It took Hitler longer to subdue the Jews of Warsaw than to conquer all of Czechoslovakia and Poland. It is fitting that at our Seder we remember and pay homage to those who gave their lives for our honor and freedom.
We have so few names of the Jewish women in our history. Tonight, we will honor the memory of our known and unknown brave sisters, those who fought so courageously against the Nazi horrors. We remember Zivia Lebetkin and Frumka Plotnicka, leaders and fighters in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. We remember Vladka Mead and Tosia Altman, who served as couriers and smuggled arms for the ghetto fighters. We remember Rosa Robata, who organized the smuggling of dynamite to blow up a crematorium in Auschwitz. Their willingness to risk their lives for their people shines through the words of Hannah Senish, written shortly before her execution. And let's do this together. Blessed is the match consumed in kindling flame. Blessed is the flame that burns in the secret fastness of the heart. Blessed is the heart with the strength to stop beating for honor's sake. Blessed is the match consumed in kindling flame.
Irena Klepsvitz, a child survivor whose father fought and died in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, wrote, "I have concluded that one way to pay tribute to those we loved who struggled, resisted, and died is to hold on to their vision and their fierce outrage at the destruction of the ordinary lives of their people. It is this outrage that we need to keep alive in our daily life and apply to all situations, whether they involve Jews or non-Jews. The hysteria of a mother grieving for the teenager who has been shot, humiliation of a people whose culture is alien and deemed inferior, a people living under military rule. Because of our experience, we recognize these evils as obstacles to peace. At those moments of recognition, we feel the outrage that inspired the Jews of the Warsaw Ghetto and allow it to guide us in our present struggles.
Hello. We are going to welcome Tahira Amatul Wadud, who is the Executive Director of the Massachusetts chapter of CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations. CARE staff and BWC members have worked together on many projects over the past couple of years, and CARE has become an invaluable partner to our organization, which we are all the better for. Welcome, Tahira.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the choicest blessings be upon you from God, most merciful, most gracious. I am honored to stand with you in deep appreciation for our shared legacy of our appreciation for Prophet Musa alayhi salam, or Moses, who stood against tyranny and moved us towards freedom. Thank you for having me this evening. A Rose Shoulder Up by Musab Abu Taha. Don't ever be surprised to see a rose shoulder up among the ruins of the house. This is how we survived. Thank you.
We invite you to pour a third cup of wine. As we say in Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. As we say in Ladino, bebemos el trezor vaso de vino en memoria de la revolta en el gueto de Beersheba, y para enfortecer nuestra obligación de reconocer y vencer el fascismo de hoy.
As we say in Yiddish, mit dem dritten Gläsel Wein lassen wir gedenken dem Warschauer Ghetto Aufstand und unsere eigene tiefe Übergegebenheit in Gerangel gegen Faschismus. We drink the third cup of wine in memory of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising and to deepen our commitment to the struggle to recognize and overcome fascism today.
Miriam's Cup. Rabbinic legend teaches that a magical well inspired by Miriam accompanied the Jews on their journey from Mitzrayim. As a midwife and a powerful Jewish woman and prophetess, Miriam represents birth, possibility, challenge, and moving through uncharted waters. She was also known for her tambourine and her singing. Every table has Miriam's cup, made by Shula students. Let us fill Miriam's cup with water and honor the strength and joy of women throughout our history.
Elijah's cup. Elijah the prophet, Eliyahu Hanavi, traditionally wanders the world in the garb of a poor person to see how the world treats the downtrodden, to see whether the world has achieved justice and is ready for the coming of the Messiah. Elijah is the symbolic hope of peace, freedom, and happiness that will come to our people and to all the people of the world. Elijah comes to every Seder as a loving guest. Let us pour some wine into Elijah's cup to show that we will act together, and let us open the door to Elijah to show that we will welcome everyone, strangers, immigrants, refugees, and new ideas will strengthen and enrich our lives.
Today, we cannot just sit passively and await Elijah's return. Let us, like Elijah, be moved to action to bring about a world of peace and justice. Let us fight the elimination of the good work of USAID and the cancellation of temporary protective status for those who are unable to return home safely. Boston Workers Circle has been supporting a Haitian couple for over 2 years and is now also supporting 2 women, one from Central America and one from South America. They and so many other immigrants are frightened that the lives they have built in the U.S. will be upended by current anti-immigrant policies. Boston Workers Circle members have been attending protests and standouts and taking actions to peacefully express our outrage, including today at the nationwide No Kings protest. See the action list at the end of this Haggadah to see how you can help our immigrant friends.
Michael Katz, I found your daughter.
Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Alle warten, jung und alt, bring der Lesen, komm je bald, mit Mashiach ben David, mit Mashiach ben David. Miriam Hanavia, Og Vazimra Beyada, Miriam Tirkodetanu, Lehagdil Zimrat Olam, Miriam Tirkodetanu, Letakenet Olam, Bimhera Ve'amenu, Yeshua, El Meha Yeshua, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
How's everybody doing? We're doing it, right? All right, we're getting a little hungry. This is a classic Seder experience. We just have a little ways to go before I can walk you through the very specific food instructions I have. All right, I'm just going to take a moment before we move on to the final phase to express thanks. I'm going to say don't clap until I tell you to clap or we'll never get to the food. So I will tell you, let me list the names of all of the people because it takes a shtetl, a full community to make this happen. All right, we've got musicians, Polly Katz and Bob Follensby. We've got the ritual committee of Linda Gritz, Kimberly Arkin, Judy Ellman, Rochelle Rothschild. Logistics, registration, and publicity, Jenny Hochstadt, Kimberly Arkin, Sandy Martin, Rebecca Zimmerman-Hornstein, Melissa Sawyer-Greer, Maira Soloff, Ali Rice, Zohar Berman. Everyone who did the shopping and made hard-boiled eggs and the much-beloved charoises. The setup, serving, cleanup volunteers under the stellar leadership of Jenny Hochstadt and Kimberly Arkin. All the readers for adding their personal voice to the Seder. It takes great bravery to come up here and read, especially the kids. Meira Soloff and all the Shula teachers and students for their writings, readings, and singings. Mike Katz for technical expertise. Andrew Nicastro and crew of streamography for the live stream. Not yet, I'll tell you when. All those who offered more help than was needed. And thank you to our community for making our holiday gatherings special and meaningful. We couldn't and wouldn't do it without you. Clap now. I'm really proud of us. Okay. We would love to hear your feedback about this Seder. What did you like? What could be improved? Would you like to join the ritual committee? See the end of the Haggadah for ways to share your thoughts. And then the last thing I'll say before we keep going is, as a secular space, Boston Workers Circle is dedicated to defining and advancing social justice and mutual aid for the Jewish left. For over a century, we have built a vibrant and intergenerational community that's committed to making a better world. We're all here right now. We are self-funded and rely on the support of our community to continue offering educational, cultural, and social justice programs that actively fight against oppression. Please donate if you are able at circleboston.org. The link is going to be in the chat. It's also on the cover of the Haggadah, to help BWC continue to thrive. And I'll just say before we move on, I am so grateful to be a part, to have found and been so warmly welcomed, invited, and brought into this community. It is unlike any other. All right, we're going to do a few more things, and then I'll be back to talk to you about how we're doing the food. Okay.
This year, for the Hay Class Solidarity protest, the Hay Class learned about ICE coming into courthouses to detain immigrants. As a class, we spoke to youth activists from Neighbors United for a Better East Boston. We also met with members of Be Vocal, Boston Voices of Community and Labor, to learn songs and chants. We couldn't stand out in front of the State House this year because it was too cold to hold a protest. So instead, we held the teach-in at Runkle for the Boston Workers Circle Shul community, and are continuing to share resources about standing in solidarity with immigrants. We invite you to join us in this important work. See the end of this Haggadah for actions you can take.
We invite you to pour a fourth cup of wine. And I'll pause for 1 second to let you all pour a fourth cup of wine. Okay. As we say in Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. As we say in Ladino, en benviendo el corten vaso de vino, decimos, lucha para que todas las criaturas puedan pujar en un mundo que celebra la diversidad, la justicia y la inclusividad.
As we say in Yiddish, mit dem vierten Gläsel Wein rufen wir euch das Axies, Kedai alle Kinder, sollen blieben in einer Welt, was besingt mit Filmigkeit, I got it wrong, Filminigkeit, Zedek und Reinnehmen. Which means in English, like my daughter, with the fourth cup of wine, we send out a call to action so that all children can thrive in a world that celebrates diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Chad Gadyo, one little goat, is traditionally sung at the end of a Seder. In one interpretation, the song symbolizes a long chain of cause and effect, with justice prevailing at the end. Chad Gadyo has many verses and has been sung in many languages, including Hebrew, Aramaic, Yiddish, and Judeo-Arabic. hear a few verses in Ladino.
Un cabritico que lo mergió mi padre por 2 levanim, por 2 levanim.
Y vino el gato y se comió el cabritico que lo mergió mi padre por 2 levanim, por 2 levanim.
Y vino el perro y aharbó el perro que mordió el gato, que se comió el cabritico, que lo mergió mi padre por 2 levanim, por 2 levanim.
Y vino el fuego y quemó el palo, que ajabró el perro, que mordió el gato, que se comió el cabritico, que lo mergió mi padre por 2 levanim, por 2 levanim.
Y vino la agua y
mató el fuego, que quemó el palo, que ajarró el perro, que mordió el gato, que se comió el cabritico, que lo mergió mi padre por 2 levanim, por 2 levanim, por 2 levanim, por 2 levanim.
The Seder obligates each of us to view ourselves as if we individually, were liberated from enslavement. We are living in a historical moment that is clearly demonstrating that freedom and justice can never be taken for granted. They require constant vigilance, protection, rededication, and action. For marginalized communities, this moment may not feel new. For those with privilege, let the newness inspire allyship and action. The Seder often ends with the words, "Next year in Jerusalem." As a community that draws strength through our history of doikait, or here-ness, and in awareness of how this metaphor of freedom has been misused, we say, "Next year in freedom from Pharaoh." There is no way to get from here to there except by joining together, working, marching, and sometimes stumbling through the wilderness. Watching, this time, not for signs and wonders, but for opportunities to act. After this last song of our community Seder, please listen for food instructions, and then the children will be invited to search for the afikomen.
So this is a song by the Peace Poets. They've been very instrumental in providing music for singing in Minneapolis and elsewhere around the country. This is a song, actually, I'm going to ask you all to stand and be in solidarity here. This is a song you all can sing. Obviously, simple words, simple melody. So, and this is the way it goes, and we're going to do it a number of times, so you'll get it over time. We are the movement, liberation moving for every single human. We have come to win. Well, so we sing win and love, and I'm going to ask you to sing love. That feels better here. We are the movement, liberation moving for every single human. We have come to love. We are the movement, liberation moving for every single human. We have come to win. We are the movement, liberation moving for every single human. We have come
come to love. We are the movement, liberation moving for every single human. We have come to love.
Great. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm back. Yeah, thank you. I got to catch up to everyone who's had 4 glasses of wine. Okay, I'm going to vamp for a hot second while the food finishes getting set up. And I'm also going to use this vamping time to walk us through because we're doing it differently this year. We all have the capacity to grow and change. It's amazing. I'm proud of us. Okay, so here's how it's going to go. It's like a wedding, y'all. It's a buffet situation, all right? And in order for that to work, you're not going to get up from your table until I tell you, like a DJ, when it's your turn, all right? So that's the first thing I'm going to say. Second thing I'm going to say is, you're going to bring your plates with you. Bring your plates with you. There will be a garbage can, even if you've used it, even if it's covered in matzah and choroises and all other good things, there's going to be a garbage can where you can dump that food into, and then you will use the plate. Yes? Good. All right. Now, I'm going to also say this. I promise there is enough food for everyone. I have been told by a number of trustworthy adults that there is enough food for everyone. So don't panic. If it looks like food is getting low, there's more coming. All right? So we've got that. We've changed caterers. Very exciting. No one will go hungry. But when you take your first plateful, just be aware there's room for seconds, right? All right, the other thing I'm going to say is, this is for the youngsters. We are a community that honors its elders. Yes, I love that. Yes. All right. If you have elders at your table who will need help getting food, please figure out who at the table might help them with a plate. And although we honor our elders, we are still going to start with our littlest children, especially the ones who might have more curatorial taste and not be open to everything that's available, so that we make sure they get fed first so that the fun can continue. We will also this is the order. Don't move yet. I did not say move yet, but this will be the order. The littles, the vegetarians, the shula tables, and then I will call tables 3 at a time from that point on. Again, I promise there will be enough food. We will make it through. And this is a great time to refill your wine bottle situation. Refill your water. Get your juice going. This is the time. The other thing I'll say is, for everyone who has signed up or is willing to help with cleanup, there will be a 3-minute, it literally says 3-minute, which I think someone should time just to make sure for fun. A 3-minute cleanup instructional meeting by the door to the kitchen when we are finished eating, and this meeting will be announced when it's time. All right, what else can I say? I can say, okay, when it is dessert time, we will announce the search for the afikomen, for the shula kids, and they will look for, and then you're going to bring it here to the front, and Polly will, or Meira will be a part of that. There's Meira, right? Everyone's here. All right. The other thing I just want to say is we had to get a little inventive with our serving utensils. So again, like, we're known for making do. What's matzah if not making do with what we have? What's a cup if not a serving utensil in a time of need? Again, we can grow and change and handle obstacles. All right, kids, the littles. It's your moment. It's your time to shine. Grab your grown-ups. Grab your plates. Go get your business. Older Shula kids who are capable of loading up your own plates, wait a second. You're all doing great. I see a lot of people sitting, and that's what I like to see right now. It's good. Good sitting, everybody. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll tell you when it's time for the next round.